I'm going to show how to access the motion terminal that I have on in the Chicago office. So these can be done just one person at a time. Just that's something to keep in mind. So the IP address is this one, 172.31.30.250, and you have to be on the VPN to access this, or on a Festo network. So once I hit enter, this will take me to the splash screen for the motion terminal. From here, I can go straight to configuration. Now, if I go into configuration and instead of getting this screen, which says if you modify settings, blah, 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 if I scroll down and I see, if I see like blank screen here and I scroll down and see an error here, it means that maybe someone else is online on the configuration, or maybe someone left the web browser open or something weird like this. In that case, what we will have to do is actually cycle power the motion terminal to clear any connections or clear any active connections and then come back here. So basically what I'm going to do here is click accept, and then here I'm online with the motion terminal. Now, so what's going on here? It seems like I have a fault, and this is because there's low pressure because I have just 1.5 bars. The thing is that right now the compressor is not on, but so what I can do is I can open Fest Maintenance Tool. I added a digital output to switch on the compressor, and let me move this over here. So FMT, what I'll do is I will go online with the CPX on the motion terminal, and this is the IP address, so it's .33. Then I click next, finish. Now I see the fault, of course, because of low pressure. What I can do now is, and I can show you here, what I can do now is I can double click in here, and then I'm going to force the output number 1, which is the one that I have the compressor at. So I can force that one. Once I click apply, you'll see that the pressure is going to start building up there. So there we go. The compressor is on now, and I can click here, OK here. Now, once the pressure builds up, this error is going to go away automatically, and then I'm going to be able to actually start doing things with the motion terminal. Now, what if I want to actually see what's going on? I have an IP camera there, so I can type in 172.31.30.30/8080/video, and that will take me straight to this video feedback. So this is actually in the Chicago office, and here we can see an actuator and a couple of pressure gauges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split these screens like this, and let's see if I can make this one like that. Okay, so now you can see that the error went away because I'm above 3.5 or 3 bars. Now you'll see that the balls, they say they're not ready because of that error, because of low pressure. So something very important is that at this point I'm just using valve number 3 and valve number 4. So valve number 4 is where the actuator is at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that one and then click acknowledge error. Once I do that, I can, for example, right now I'm on the presetting of travel time. I can scroll down. Let me start fresh so you can see how this looks. If there was nothing on the valve, it will look something like this. If I want to control it from the web server, I have to click here, take write permissions from PLC, and then select the app that I want. So in this case, let's say I want, presetting of travel time, and then click assign. Okay, click assign, and then now I have the app. This is configured. I go to test mode. I already have all of the parameters here for that particular actuator, the tubing length, etc., etc. So I'm going to go straight to test mode, and here what I can do is I can start the test run and then advance the actuator at these speeds right now. So advance, and I see the actuator move forward, and then I can click retract. So right now, supposedly it's going to retract at 0.9 seconds and advance at 0.5 seconds. So this takes I don't know, I've noticed it takes 4 or 5 cycles to catch up. So advance, it's at 434 milliseconds, trying to reach that 500 milliseconds, and then retract. It's getting close, 840. And I can actually see, so here I can see the sensors, the sensor LED on the input card. So retract, and I can see the other one lights up. I can also get the feedback from here, reached or not reached, advanced. And then if I wanted to change some settings here, I can I don't know, 1.5 seconds and make this one faster, 0.3, and then accept changes. And now I start the test run again. I'm advanced, retract, so it should be faster, and the advance should be slower. As I mentioned, it's gonna take a couple of cycles to catch up. There, perfect, 1.5, retract 301. Okay, so that's how, at least how this app works. Let's switch the app. I'm going to switch to, I don't know, so for example, this one, proportional directional control valve. I assigned that one now, you'll see here. And then I go to test mode, move this window, and now I can play with this app, make both ports active, start test run, and now the thing with this one is that it will allow me to move the actuator to intermediate positions, but it's kind of tricky to control here manually, right? But this functions pretty similar to an MPYE. So what I could do is increase it a little bit there and then stop there and make this 0. So you see I'm not fully extended nor fully retracted. I'm kind of at a middle position. And so that's another app that you can test with the actuator. I'm going to maximize this again. Uh, Maybe you can try this one as well, the supply and exhaust airflow control. I assigned it now, test mode, and let me move this screen. So now start test run. Usually I meter out, so I open the supply completely, and then I can now retract. Oh, hold on. There we go. So I can now retract or advance slowly or fast, right? And then adjust it again. So this will enable you to show to customers or even test by yourselves how these different apps react. Now let's jump to the third valve position. So for example here, I can leave it as it is. I can leave that one loaded, or I can unassign it and remove the controls if I want it. There's no problem. So I take the control again, I acknowledge the error. Remember that this was because there was no pressure. So I acknowledge the error, and then remember that this is connected to these two gauges. So basically this will help to show only the proportional pressure regulation independent on the two different ports. So I go back here, test mode, and then start test run. Now, the problem here is that you might not be able to see the numbers because of the quality of the image. But you can see that I'm regulating the pressure, or I can regulate the other one. I have to maybe adjust those gauges so we can see them clearly. Um, but something that you can do is this. So you can actually zoom in using your web browser, and you kind of see what's going on there, but not really. So something that you can do, um, if you wanted to, is instead of typing video, you can just type in the port 8080 like that, click enter, and this will take you to the actual configuration page for the IP camera. In this case, it didn't ask you for a password, for a username and password, but usually it will. And I can provide that username and password over an email. But in here, what you can do is, so let's open the video here. What you can do is we can actually increase the stream quality. So right now the stream quality is at 16%. So if you see here, oh, hold on. I'm going to open another one here so we can see in theory how that changes. Oh, it wasn't that one. It was / video like that. And then I'm going to zoom in. And what I'll do is I'll increase the stream quality to, let's say, 100%. And you'll see on the left it improved. I mean, I can barely see the 0, 2, 4, 6, etc. Bars here on the gauge. But the problem is that now the video streaming is significantly slower. So if you start moving the actuator, so let me move this over here. If I start moving this, for example, you'll see that there's a delay between the image and the actual control. So that's the downside. So I was doing some tests, and I mean, it doesn't matter if you take it all the way down to close to 15%. You can still see the needle and on the gauge, and it's faster. I mean, the video transmission is faster. So I think that's better. Now I can close. Well, maybe I can move it over here. But something else that I wanted to show you is that it doesn't matter at what time you access this demo, it's always gonna, well, in theory, it's always going to be online. The only thing, the compressor, that's why I added that digital output so we can shut off the compressor and it's not running every time. But some other thing is that, of course, during night we close the office and the light is going to be switched off. So the IP camera actually, well, this is actually a cell phone. This is an Android phone. So this phone actually has a LED, so you can switch it on here. You'll see. You'll barely notice it here on the image, but there. So now the LED is on, and you could see, it doesn't matter that the office light is off, you should be able to see what's going on. And yeah, so that's about it for now. Maybe we will add more things to this demo, but this at this point is just a beta test. So feel free to give me a call or send me an email in case that you have any questions on how to use this. And let's try to coordinate on who is going to use it at what time and with which customers, etc., etc. All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye.